Hey guys, my name's Evan. Welcome to Country View Acres. So I think about 8 days ago or so, I treated the pond to try to get rid of the algae and the duckweed. And you can see we still got plenty of algae along here. Doesn't seem like it affected it. And then back there floating, kind of hard to see from here, but back there floating on that side is duckweed. So this morning I'm going to focus on the pond. I am going to try to treat it one more time with a little higher dosage. Hopefully we can get it to the right amount where it works. Also going to try to get the aeration system going in the pond. And then on the John boat we had broken oars where we can't use it. I've always been told I need to get a trolling motor for that boat, and I finally picked up a trolling motor, and we're going to get that set up on the boat as well. And I'm actually going to treat the pond, I think, from the boat this time instead of from the bank. So right here, this is the trolling motor that I bought for the boat. And I also got a new 12-volt deep cycle battery as well, so we just need to go see if we can get these installed on the boat. Well, the first thing I can do is get rid of these broken oars. Well, the John boat's full of leaves and little branches and stuff from being under this tree. Let's see if we can dump it. Oh, there's a snake. There's 2 snakes under the boat. All right. Now where'd them snakes go? Get back, Callie. You'll get struck. Get back. Get back, Callie. Hey, where'd he go? Hey, he's staying in all this tall grass. There he is. Okay, there's our snake. Not sure what he is. He's coming at me like a spider monkey. Well, I caught one of the snakes. Here he is. I wish he'd open his mouth up. I don't think he's poisonous because his head's just not the right shape. All right, we're gonna see if we can toss him. There he goes. He's just a water snake. He swam down to the bottom. And I'll flip it back over. There might be a snake back under it. I'm not wearing boots. So this John boat was actually on the property when we bought it. It was actually like sunk in the water. My brother-in-law found it. It was back on that side of the pond, and we drug it out of the water and kind of cleaned it up. Threw a couple oars on it, and we've used it ever since. But it's pretty bad shape. Pretty rotten in here, like where the transom is. You see the mold on here. This board is falling apart. So hopefully we get the trolling motor on here and it doesn't fall off. Well, it looks like the only thing I got to put on is this handle. There we go. All right, let's go see if we can get this new trolling motor on the boat. So this should just clamp right here to the back of the boat. Well, it seems like it's on there. Now for the deep cycle battery. So the trolling motor has about 3 or 4 feet of wire on it with connectors already there, so I just need to hook it to the battery. So now all I gotta do is just twist the handle and it should run. Yep. Looks good. All right, get our spray tank in here. We'll put it at the front of the boat so the weight's up here. Now I just got to run the wiring for the tank to the battery. So before I put water in the spray tank, I'm gonna see if I can get this in the water first. Oh. I think I'm gonna go ahead and move the boat around to a different place where it's closer to a garden hose to fill up this tank. Whoa! Really kicked back when I kicked it up. Ah, it's moving the boat pretty good. It's good. Well, you can see what this algae does to a boat motor, or to a trolling motor. I got it hung up here. I couldn't make it to shore without going through algae. Look at that. This is what we're trying to prevent. Is this. All right, I got untangled. Took me about 5 tries, but I obviously cannot get the motor near the algae. Man, that 5th gear is pretty speedy. I guess I'm just gonna have to see if I can get a garden hose over here. All right, well, I think I've got enough garden hose to reach it. Garden hoses are about the biggest joke. Oh, it's heavy duty. Not even close to heavy duty. All right, I think I got everything ready, so I'm gonna head to the far side of the pond and just start working my way around. That's nice. Way better than just using oars and paddling. I think I could just stand here. All right, I just finished up. I got the entire pond sprayed this time, and it took a total of 3 of these tanks full, and that's a 15-gallon tank. So 45 gallons it took, and it took me a few hours to go around the whole pond. So hopefully this treatment works this time. If not, I think I'm gonna have to find something else to try. But I have a feeling that it was starting to work last time, and maybe I should have waited a little bit longer, but some of the algae around here I could tell looked like it was starting to turn brown. And then down farther on that, way down at that end, I could tell a lot of the algae was nice and bright green where I didn't spray before. So I got my fingers crossed. Hopefully this time it's gonna work. And the trolling motor on here worked fantastic. This is probably one of the best purchases I've made. And I've had people telling me for years I should get a trolling motor for this. And to all the people that said it, you were right. It's definitely a great purchase. Totally changed the boat. I mean, it's just easy to get around, easy to maneuver. And before we just rode the boat, right? So I never would fish out of it before. But now that I've got this trolling motor on here, I can definitely see I'll be taking the boat out and I'll be doing some fishing later this week. So the next thing I need to do is I want to get the pond aerator going. And there's just one thing I gotta move. And out here, there's a floating duck decoy right out here, and that's attached to one of the aerators. We had it real shallow for the winter time to keep this area from thawing or from freezing for the ducks. And I just need to get a hold of that, and I just need to take it out as far as I can into the pond and drop it. But it'll take a few days to start it up because I can only run it like 15 minutes the first day, then 30. You double it each day. It takes several days to finally get it to where it's on all the time. Well, I think that's the length of the hose. Go ahead and throw it in. All right, the aerator pump's on. All right, you're not gonna be able to see it on camera, but there's one there, there's one here, there's the one we just dropped in, and then there's a fourth one back there. So it looks like everything's working, all 4 diffusers are bubbling. So we'll give it 15 minutes and then we'll turn it off, and then we'll start it back up tomorrow, and we'll start doing the startup sequence. So the next thing I need to do is I need to take the T654 and the disc, and I need to go out here and disc for a 3rd time. I disked the field for a 2nd time yesterday. I didn't video any of it, but hopefully this is about the last time we can start planting this field. I disked the field a 2nd time yesterday. Today will be the 3rd time, and then I'm hoping to plant it tomorrow. And then the day after that, it's gonna rain like an inch and a quarter of rain is what they're calling for. So if I can time this right and get it in the ground before then, I think this is gonna work out. All right, I just finished up disc in the field for the third time. So we'll come out here, we'll see what it looks like. So as we look down here, you can see, I mean, it's broken up fairly well. Still a lot of dirt clods in here. You know, it's not perfect, but even though it's got a bunch of clods, I think it's gonna be good enough for what we're doing. So we're gonna be planting sorghum Sudan grass in this, and hopefully we'll be doing that tomorrow. All right, it's after 6 in the evening now, and this is normally when I come out to the garden when it's a little bit cooler. So let's check it out, see how it's doing. So this right here, this is cilantro. Looks like it's gonna start going to seed here pretty soon. We've got some basil in here. This is some celery. This was pretty small when we put it in. It's gotten bigger. Got some parsley here. And this bed definitely looks pretty good right here. This is our mostly lettuce. So we've got a couple different types of romaine lettuce here. And then right here, this is the bib lettuce, the butter crunch bib lettuce. I'll probably end up starting to pick these here pretty soon. And then some of these will probably here in another week or two, we'll start picking these. And then we got some kale. It's starting to come in pretty good. We'll just walk around here. This is the broccoli that I planted. It's actually starting to look fairly well. It's starting to grow up, and maybe we'll actually get some broccoli from this before it's over with. And then here's our strawberry plants. They're starting, you can see like the runners coming out. They're starting to spread out, but we actually do have a few strawberries. Like right there is one. Got a little strawberry there. They're still a little light on the bottom side, so they probably need a couple more days. And then here's the first stuff we planted. Look at these onions. These things are really tall. I bet you these are 2.5 feet tall, some of these onions. They're growing quite nicely, but the problem is they are starting to go to seed. These were just bulbs that were bought at the store, the onion bulbs, and I think they're probably more prone to go to seed. And then we've got a bunch of potatoes with a cat. Get out of there. Get. But yeah, the potatoes are coming in fairly good. And I had some coming up in some of the raised beds, and I transplanted them, and that's what these little ones are right here. These are some transplant potatoes. I've never done that before, and looks like it's working. So since these are going to seed, I'm gonna try something. I've seen other people do this, and I'm actually gonna cut off the stalks down to, I don't know, maybe a foot tall. And supposedly that's supposed to make the onion, it's supposed to put its energy into the root, and the onion should get bigger, and it'll stop this going to seed process, I think. So let's go ahead and start. Just basically got a pair of scissors here, and I'm just gonna give them a little haircut. Well, our onions look totally different now, but it may be hard to see, but look how thick some of these stalks are. I mean, these things are pretty good size. They're bigger than my thumb, about twice as big as my thumb at least. So I think if we give it time, we'll get some pretty good onions out of these. So in these raised beds right here, we've got peppers and tomatoes in here, and most of them are still pretty small. We do have a few of these slicing tomatoes that are 1.5 feet tall or so. So it looks like it's still going to be several weeks before we get any peppers or tomatoes. It's going to be a while. And I don't think we've harvested anything yet. I was hoping I'd get like the first strawberry tonight, but I think I need to wait a couple of days. Probably the first thing we'll harvest, it's either going to be the strawberries or it's going to be the lettuce. And of course we got several herbs out here we have planted, and we could always cut off some of those if we wanted them. But I think that the raised bed garden looks really good so far. In fact, I don't think there's any weeds. I haven't had to weed at all so far in the raised beds, or these tall ones. Now these short ones over here, they're starting to get a bunch of weeds growing in them, and I'll have to weed those pretty soon. And so far I have just been hand watering the garden of an evening or early in the morning. I haven't got the sprinkler pump hooked up yet in the pond. And I was thinking about doing that, but the algae is so bad, like right along the edge, that I don't think that I could irrigate. I think it would kind of get plugged up. I think it would pull that algae into it. So I don't think I'll be able to do any pond irrigation until I get this algae problem taken care of. And if you watch the video where I treated the pond the first time, I explained how that herbicide doesn't stay in the water column long. It drops out in about a day. It's supposed to be safe to irrigate your lawn in 1 day. It's supposed to be safe to irrigate your garden, fruits and vegetables, within 5 days. So if I can get the algae problem taken care of, I do still plan on using the irrigation pump if I can. So my plans for this week is tomorrow I'm hopefully gonna plant that front field with sorghum Sudan grass, and that's gonna be a summer forage. We'll probably have a small area that will graze during the summertime, and then I'll probably have another section that will cut and bale into haylage or silage bales. And then the day after that, we should get like an inch of rain, or maybe over an inch of rain, which is almost perfect. But whenever it rains, I'll probably end up trying to burn the brush pile over here and get that taken care of and get that gone. And then after the rain, I'm waiting for dry weather. If I can get a window of dry weather, I really need to start cutting hay. So I need to start getting the hay equipment out, start going through it, getting it all ready for the season. And then there's also a chance that I could get a phone call this week to go buy steers and heifers. And they'd be beef heifers is what they would be. So the farmer I buy off of, he's busy planting right now, but as soon as there's like wet weather and he can't get in the fields and can't plant, there's a good chance he'll be calling me to go buy steers and heifers. So we'll just have to wait and see whether that happens, but it should be happening here pretty soon. But it looks like I've got a fairly busy week ahead of me, so I think that's gonna be it for this video, guys. So I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time.